Hi everybody, how are you doing? It's 8:22 in the evening. Welcome to Wi-Fi Sheep Live with me, Tom. And this is a test edition of 8 Till Late live on YouTube. I did intend to start the broadcast today at 8 o'clock and things just kind of got away with me. So that hasn't happened. But we're here now, 22 minutes late. Basically, I had to decide, was I going to put the chickens away before I came on air? And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I need to go and put the animals and the chickens away. Because it's kind of like dusk now here in the UK. And yeah, that took a bit of time. Then I thought, you know what? I kind of want a cup of tea. So I thought, I'll make a cup of tea before we go live. So I'm late. But I'm here now and everything should be good. So thank you for your company. Thank you for joining me. I'll explain a little bit about what the plan is this evening very shortly. If you want to join me in the chat, you can, and I will be checking the chat periodically. Basically, you will need to be a subscriber for at least 20 minutes, so it's kind of open for current subscribers to the channel. That's all you have to be. You don't have to be a member or anything to leave a comment in the chat, and very much looking forward to hearing from you throughout this evening. Before we go any further, though, do you have a need for reliable and cost-effective web hosting for your blog, business or personal website? If so, then look no further than Cheap Host UK. Cheap Host UK's basic plan starts from only 58p per month. That's £6.99 a year. And if you're needing a little bit more, Cheap Host UK's premium packages start from £1.41 per month or £16.99 a year, complete with a free .co.uk domain. New customers can also take advantage of an extra 10% discount when purchasing any first-time hosting package or domain name from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, to get an extra 10% off. For reliable, cost-effective web hosting and domains, look no further than Cheap Host UK. Full details and an affiliate link are in the description to this video. Yep, so Cheap Host UK, 10% discount if you use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP. Details and links to the domain names and website hosting services are in the link to this video, or at least should be, or will be, but I think they are there. So do go and check that out. Also, because I always keep forgetting to do this, and it's really important that I do give some credit, I just want to say huge thank you to the channel members and YouTube channel members, and of course our really kind and generous patrons. There they all are currently. You can of course join them at patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep, or the YouTube membership tiers, and there they are. Base support from 99p, base plus 1.99, and mid support from 2.99, and that all helps me hugely in generating the content here on the channel. Right, so what's with the weird camera angle? You've probably never seen such a wide angle before. Basically, I want to have a look at a few things to do with our TinyBASIC computers project, and I thought, well, you know, let's just do a live stream. Let's do it live. Also, I want to play with the oscilloscope, which has been sitting here in the background of so many shots, and I want to check a few things with basically I've got a custom build which I haven't really shown on the channel yet. But part of it has stopped working, and I kind of need to see if we can kind of get it working. Let me just show you on cameras. Let's switch to the overhead view. And they are T camera. And that's my phone. I probably should have put on silent. Let's put that on silent. There we go. Right. So this is a prototype for a Project Rio TinyBASIC computer system. So those of you that are familiar with what I'm doing, we are running a long-running build-it-yourself homebrew 8-bit computer project using Arduino microcontrollers. And this is one of the latest incarnations. I have shot videos of me making this. Let's just take the lid off. I haven't published anything. And here it is. So kind of as things have moved on with the project, it's kind of gotten to the kind of almost the end of its service life. And although it does work, there are a few problems with it. The main one being it has 2 video terminals. So it has an original Raspberry Pi, which is squished in here, and it has an Atmega 328p standalone microcontroller, which is underneath here, and that generates 2 separate video signals. The idea is you could switch between an 80 column and a 40 column video mode, and this was done about a year ago now, or thereabouts, and when I was building this, and it was done because you couldn't get hold of Raspberry Pi stock, hence why I've used a Raspberry Pi 1, a used secondhand Raspberry Pi 1, and I bought a few of those because I didn't know if we'd ever get zeros back or we'd get Raspberry Pi back ever again. So I did wonder, was that the end of it? And that's why the design decisions were made to use these boards. The case itself is actually off something else. It's off a commercial product I designed for a cottage industry computer company. They branded it as their own brand name, but it's actually CE2 is the actual, if you like, code name from me for it. It was designed for a Raspberry Pi 4, not for all this to squeeze inside. So I kind of ended up quite severely butchering the case quite a bit to get this to fit. The whole reason for trying to get this prototype inside a case was I wanted to take it out to shows and events and pie jams and all the rest of it, and of course that never really happened. So yeah, and then bits of it, like the 40 column video mode, stopped working, and I did have support SD card support there, but also PS2 support, and the PS2 never worked properly on it. So in this video today, I just want to kind of go through having a look as to what the kind of problems are with this. I've also got a bit of a, I'm stuck at a point with this because, and it's kind of why I'd be very interested, you want to chime in on the chat, I'd be very interested to hear your opinion. This is a prototype, but the TinyBASIC, or now Project Rio kernel for this, I've moved on from how this is wired. So this won't be fully compatible with the latest builds. Very shortly, we're about to do the Project Rio video. For those of you that have joined me on the Project Rio TinyBASIC tier and have upgraded, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're probably wondering, where's the make video? It's going to be literally next month, September. I'm going to get that done because I did say summer and I am a little bit behind in everything that's been going on. So it's my full intention to get that to you, well, as soon as possible, really. But the conundrum is, what do I do with this? Do I make this work and then leave it as a prototype of the past as part of the project? Or do I break it up? Do I rehouse it? Do I try and change it so it does work as the design of the project has shifted? Or do I component recover? And that's what I'm not sure about. I think the first thing to do then is let's just do a quick test. Bits of it do work, which is annoying, and bits of it don't. So it gives me an opportunity to show you something I bought the other day. And I'm going to move that a minute because we've got space on the desk. So I bought this, which, yeah, cheap and cheerful. Typical kind of Chinese branded packaging, claiming the world, and they were branding it as high definition. It clearly is not high definition because it's a composite only, but it's a TF. Well, you can see what it is. It's a TFT color without the U. American spelling, color monitor. Let's just take that out. I have actually had this out already. But it's 12-inch display, 12-inch 16:9, 12-inch display. There we go. And that's not bad, actually. The problem I was having with some of the smaller, cheap composite displays is 5 inches is kind of difficult to read, especially if you want to run an interpreter in 80 column mode. So I thought, what's the cheaper, bigger monitor? I can buy. So I think what we'll do first of all is let's just test this Project Rio system, the bit of it that does work, because fundamentally it does actually work. So I've got composite on the back, and we just need a composite or RCA lead. So this will be outputting, or should be outputting, in PAL. It can do NTSC actually. The monitor will accept NTSC, and the Raspberry Pi running the Pi GFX standalone bare metal terminal. Get my words out. Terminal. Can be set via the config.txt file, I believe it is. You can output in CCAM, PAL, NTSC, NTSCJ. Another reason for why I've liked to use the Raspberry Pis as video terminals or dumb terminals for this project, as well as being able to drive USB. Anyway, can I remember which one it goes in? Yeah, I think it's that one. So it's black to white, so we'll connect that like that. Let's find some space. Trust me, in a minute I do intend we'll hack the tools out, and then we've got to decide what we're doing with that unit, because yeah, not sure. There we go. So on this side, you might think you've got what looks like standard RCA video. It's actually a bit of a lie. So the red is actually power. It's AC, I think it's up to 12 volts AC power. And then you've got what you think video audio. No, it's actually two videos. There's no audio on this. So I'm just going to attach white to yellow. I could go white to white on this, that would be fine. Then I've just got off camera here, I've got a mains laptop power supply with just a barrel connector. So just pop that in like that. So if I now put some power on, there we go. And then I've got a Raspberry Pi 3 micro USB. Nearly get that mixed up. Mini or micro USB. So that's going to power the Project Rio system, or at least attempt to. So let's put that on power, and there's a switch on the unit. Okay. And I'm not getting any video out. Interesting. So it's probably more broke than I realised originally. Switch video. There's a button here to switch video feeds. You can see AV2, AV1. Yeah, right. So are we working even less than we were last time? It looks like it. Yeah. Okay. So one thing I need to just check is to make sure which video mode this is in, because I put in two jumpers. So let's just power down off that a minute. There's an array of jumpers just hiding under this massive cable. And again, I actually regret putting this in such a tight case, in all honesty. And there's some jumpers here, and they're for setting up various things, which I don't remember what they are offhand. So I need to grab, I've got a notebook. This is the TinyBASIC notebook when I was building the system, and this, where are we? Yeah, so this is the pin header here, but it's backwards, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's actually flipped. Yeah, I made life easier for myself when I designed this. So that's the pin header layout, and it corresponds to looking, let's get this right around, looking that way. And I appreciate you can't see this that well, but just take my word for it, there's pin headers in here. So right, composites, And then you ask yourself, why did I make this damn thing so complicated? So I turn it off. I've got to use a pair of pliers to get this jumper out. And you start shorting things. Let's take that out. Get it out. There we go. And just swap it down onto there. Power up. No, we're not happy, are we? Oh, hang on. Power's come out of damn pie now. Yeah, so basically, the gist of this is it just doesn't work properly, which is a shame because it was working. Let's just power that down. It's one of those, this just seemed like such a good idea at the time, and then I rushed it. There we go. That's looking promising. Okay, the colour's a little bit off. Let's see if we can just get that to focus a bit better. These are, they're not auto-focusing cameras, so there we go. That's a bit better. It does look purple because the polarizing, but that's actually is blue. So that's composite out on this display, which, yeah, looks all right. But as you saw, it doesn't work. What you should be able to do is pull that jumper out, and it switches from the Pi driving the video for it to the Atmega 328P, it's like daughter chip, which should drive it. And alas, it doesn't, which, yeah, I want to get to the bottom of why this chip isn't running. So fundamentally the system works, but this isn't the way I want to do things, and when we come to do the build, we certainly won't be doing it this way. So yeah, I've got to make a decision now. As I said in the intro, what am I going to do with this unit? Do I try and get this to work, knowing that it's gone slightly down a dead end, or do I component recover for the newer, better, later builds? Because things like the Pi, the Arduino Mega 2560 are all reusable. The chip on here is reusable. You can component strip basically. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this monitor. I mean, it's cheap. That's why you're getting that kind of strange polarizing effect, but yeah, it's not bad, all things considered. Yeah, so what's going on is basically what I need to find out today. Let's turn things off then, and also this thing is falling apart. I think my advice to anyone is don't build a prototype and try and cram it inside an existing case that's fractionally too small for it, because you kind of end up regretting it. And yeah, this is very wobbly. This all broke when it went out to the very last Stafford. I keep calling them Pi Jams. They're not. The last Stafford Makefest event, which is what I rushed this to. And yeah, it just yeah, this bit fell off basically, which was great. Excuse me. I think it's going to be very difficult because it's crammed together so sharply, it's going to be really difficult. You can actually see here, two boards don't quite fit. So you've got this, it's squished in here good, but I think I'm going to have to get this out. I don't hugely want to uncouple everything if I can help it. So I'm wondering if, because the case is kind of cut up and shot anyway, I'm just wondering if maybe we need to cut this out the case. So at least I can bit of space to troubleshoot it then. See if we can find out, you know, what has gone wrong with it. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested in why it's gone wrong, but at the same time, it's not that important that it has, because we're not going to do this dual terminal thing anymore. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to try and dismantle this the best I can. Again, I have shot a whole video of actually building this in the first place, and it did work, and it worked okay for a little while. And it's just sort of stopped working, and it's very difficult to maintain, basically. So the Raspberry Pi itself is screwed in, sort of. And oh, that's come off. There we go. I should have got a little dish really to put the screws in. Got a camera, one of the webcam lens caps. I suppose I could just commandeer for the minute, put the screws in. There we go. That's the power off. That, as in the USB, is actually screwed in as well. Oh dear. Might be able to just get to those screws. You just look at it and you're like, who designed this? You go, oh, it was me, I designed it. I've only got myself to blame. Screws gone flying. Right, so that's all out. I just wonder if it's... I remember when I fitted this, I had to slide this board in, and I don't want to uncouple everything if I can help it. So, not sure on this. God. No, I think we'll have to cut it out, I think. Because I think we'll make more damage, more mess. This should just pop off. There it goes. So I 3D printed these red pieces. These were new to the same design. This was recovered off the original product I did, and these were actually the files. And I just did a like a reprint for these pieces, but oh well. Some point, plastic junk sale, I think. Big box at an exhibition, come and help yourself. Something like that. 'Cause it's amazing when you do 3D printing just how much junk you actually pick up. Or you actually print yourself, basically. Right. What are we thinking? Yeah, I think we'll just cut the back off, and then we'll just lift everything through, because it's the electronics are important. The case is not. So it's actually, I should just show you here. This one actually cracked already. See that crack through the power switch? So it already had issues. Put it that way. Let's see if we can get that to... Well, PLA can be quite brittle in the way it breaks as well. So it doesn't shatter, it does sort of bounce, but it sort of can end up kind of going everywhere. There we go. There we go. We might stand a chance now. Again, it was a stupid idea to try and put it in this. Oh, we need to try and get this power switch out. The power switch just here, which is, there we go. There we go, right. And that's the sort of remains of the case. Throw it out somewhere. I need to get one of those machines that you can grind up PLA and then you can actually reflow it into filament, because this would actually melt back into filament and could be used again for 3D printing. I mean, I don't know what the quality would be like, but I seem to get through quite a bit of waste of plastic, if you know what I mean. Even though this stuff doesn't have any oil in it, it's cornstarch derivative, so it doesn't burn, it just melts. It won't burn like, you know, ABS or other types of styrene plastic. Still, right, that's out, that's great. So here is more or less the device. Right, so how are we going to do this? I'm tempted, let's put it in frame so you can see. So I'm tempted to, because we could just power straight off the USB. That's not the USB. The USB is underneath. Sorry, USB is under there. What am I talking about? No, it's under there. It's under there. So we could just power 5 volts through the USB, which means we don't need this sort of Raspberry Pi power connector. He says, have I actually got I need like an Apple phone charge. Let's have a quick look. So I've got, as an old-fashioned style USB A to B type cable, so that'll be fine. And I need a phone charger. Let's have a look. There we go. iPhone, iPad, doesn't matter, that'll work. So I'll pop that just off camera in the I've got like a extension block off the mains, so yeah, we'll be right back. For those of you wondering what that was, Google is meant to be running adverts during this, so I was just getting a notification that we were going for an ad break. For those of you that are running ad blocker, hello, you're still with me. So apparently YouTube are going to ban us all from doing that eventually, so we won't be able to, or something like that. But yeah. So then where are we? Okay. So yeah, if we're going to power off a phone charger USB, that's great. So I'm tempted, let's take some of this wiring out. Let's disconnect that, and that's the ground. Okay. Okay, so that's just taking the power switch and the, what was the 5 volt USB, micro USB, Raspberry Pi style power supply out. So that's fine. It should still work off the, actually let's just check that so I know what I'm actually saying. So I should be able to just plug that in. Right. Of course, the yeah, so the Arduino side obviously works, but the Raspberry Pi side doesn't, because the connectors have all fallen out because the connectors have had to be bent over because it didn't fit in the original case. So if ever there was a lesson in how not to do something, so it's where are we? Ground. I appreciate. Sorry, I got back of my head in shot there. I'm just trying to figure out which cable it goes in. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. And that's the Pi. Looks to be powered back up okay, quite happily as well. Those connectors are really shot though. Let's just see if we can get those straightened up a little bit. You see the problem? Look how, I'll show you that. Look how bent. So it's no wonder it was having problems. It won't make a difference as to why this chip has failed though. But, and yes, I did try reflashing another Atmega 48p video terminal. So it does the same thing. So it's an infrastructure failure on behalf of whatever's on this board. Which my gut feeling it's the clock, or something's uncoupled underneath, or fallen off, desoldered or something in the squeeze to get this to fit properly. It's my gut instinct. I might be wrong. Let's just try that again. Yeah. Okay, that seems happy enough. What am I making? By the way, hello, Dave. Right, yeah. It's not what I'm making. This is the prototype for the TinyBASIC color system. It's one of the prototypes. I've not actually shown the videos this being built. This is for Project Rio. So basically, I scrambled this whole thing together very quickly, and then it went out to a couple of the sort of things like the Raspberry Pi Jam events that were still running. And then it started to have problems and didn't work. And that's because at the beginning of the video, when I showed it, it was crammed into this 3D print case. I've just had to break it in half to get the damn thing out. And it was all kind of bent and squashed together, which is not how you make anything properly. It's meant to be 2 video sources out for it. So Raspberry Pi original here is for color 80 column mode. And then it has a Atmega 328p microcontroller sitting on this hat board, and that's meant to run exclusively in black and white 40 column mode, and the actual board underneath is an Arduino Atmega 2560, which is the board that's driving our custom TinyBASIC kernel. And I was just trying to see if I could figure out why this side doesn't work. So the color video works, the basic loads, but this side doesn't. And I just thought, let's hop onto a live stream and have a look. But basically, the question I posted at the beginning, and I appreciate for those of you that are only just joining us, I need to make a decision on is this worth carrying on with, because I've changed fundamentally so much how this project works. Very shortly next month, we're going to do the first TinyBASIC Project Rio build here on the channel, and that will be breadboard based, so it won't be as complex and solder based as this. So things have changed slightly. There isn't this twin terminal column mode thing anymore, because it was a pain in the butt. And also, I did this because I didn't know about the availability of Raspberry Pi, because at the time you couldn't get hold of anything. Now you can, with new Zeros coming on the market. My sort of feeling of needing sort of twin terminal operation is sort of changed slightly. So, and basically the new kernel you download or upload to your boards from our Patreon doesn't work with this board because of the way it's wired. So I'd have to completely rewire how this worked to use the modern builds that I've got. So yeah, I'm a bit stuffed as to, or stuck rather, as to what to do. But I just want to see if I could find out why this wasn't running. So that's the premise of what we're trying to do. So it's less building and more taking apart, I'm afraid. So that's good. That works so far. So let's just power off we can, I'm just going to cut, I did cable tie a few things, did I? I did, but that's not in there, so we can take, and I'm going to take these two out, because it's just a power LED. So we'll just uncouple. There we go. So we'll take the power LED off for the moment. So you can actually see here, hopefully a little more clearer. Pushing these cables out of the way. How we? That's the video. That's the composite feed from the Raspberry Pi to the board itself. That's actually just come out. So we want to go on there. So yeah, you've got this header board here for selecting things, and then you've got these are the sort of feed jumper feeds that take it off to different bits of the board. As I said, the PS2 interface here didn't work properly. And I'm just reading what Dave's saying here. Yeah, is it a microcontroller as a computer with the Pi doing graphics? That's exactly what it is, yes. So you've got basically the computing is being done underneath here. This is the Atmega 2560, which is what we're using now as the base for the project. And then it's sending via UART serial. So it's a TXRX UART, and it's sending that through a voltage regulator, because we've got 5-volt TTL and we have to go to 3.3 volt TTL logic for the Pi. That's what this board does here. And then this runs something called Pi GFX, which is a bare metal terminal. So it's not a Linux or anything, it's a bare metal terminal, and it runs a very simple USB driver. So you can plug a USB keyboard in, and the Pi will then run either via composite or via HDMI straight graphics out in color, being fed through escape codes from our basic interpreter running on the Arduino. So that's exactly how the project works. The link to the whole series is in the description. It's tinybasic.wifishoop.co.uk, and that'll take you through to the YouTube stream for the whole TinyBASIC project. We originally started off with breadboarding simple black and white computers using the Arduino Nano, which is an Atmega 328P. And then we used a separate 328P as the video console, but that was only black and white and composite only. And then people wanted to use USB, they wanted to use color. That's not USB, by the way. I know it looks USB. It's actually wired as a PS2. You just have to have a USB keyboard that has PS2 protocol, which caused problems. So as the project's progressed and we've added more RAM, more memory, that kind of thing, this is kind of where we've got to now, and very shortly we'll have the new chapter building the project radio systems. Or as I said, they'll work to this kind of logic and basis. They're not going to be as complicated as this. So yeah, so I need to figure out what is going on with this chip, and yeah, so that's sound. So the sound, you can actually select the sound from the buzzer, which you've been hearing, or you can go out via the RCA jack. So that's one of the pins you can, or jumpers you can switch, which you could do on the original boards. Actually, you could switch between if you wanted to go out via speaker or out via external RCA. Dave's asking, can you show an example of the code for Pi graphics? No. I'm not quite set up to do it, I'm afraid. Not in this stream, but I'm trying to think now. When did I last do it? It was a while ago, New Year's, wasn't it? I wish I was set up to do it. Otherwise, I would have said yes. But basically, we've got color graphic commands added to our basic interpreter. So it's TinyBASIC with custom basic keywords and commands for graphics. I mean, the kind of graphics we're talking about are, it's simple 8-bit stuff. It can do lines and circles and squares and that kind of thing. I mean, you are limited by the baud rate of the serial. We're running at 16 megahertz, the actual chip speed, so that's fast enough. The baud rate can actually slow the graphics down. I'm trying to think, have I got any live examples of anything I can point you to? No, I don't think I do. I think some of the color demonstration videos, again, if we go back to, it's in the links are in the description of the video. It's tinybasic.wifishoot.co.uk, and right down the bottom of that playlist on YouTube, when we do the introduction for TinyBASIC for color, that does have some examples, and that's using this system. It's using the Atmega 328p, so it's slightly less RAM. Basically, what happened was we had to switch up the processor we were using. Basics, we didn't have enough memory. 2K of RAM or 1K for basic, strangely, isn't enough to run color graphics. Or color graphics well. So that's why we're using the boards we are here. So we've got 8K of RAM on one of these. And we're hoping to switch up to a chipset. I've got my presentation here. Hang on. I can find it. That's not the right one. There we go. So yeah, that's what we initially started with, which was the Atmega 328p. And that's where I'm hoping we're going to end up, which is going to use the 1284p, which again is this sort of 40-pin dip package chip. And that will give us 16K. So that's kind of why the builds are going to be going for the PCB version, which I'm going to do at a later date. It's not what we're going to use for these though. Again, I'm just seeing where my other board's gone. When you're live, stuff tends to wander around. But it's why we're using, let's go back to camera 2. It's why we're using these type of controllers. Basically because we've got the 8K of RAM, which is more than sufficient for most people's needs, and these are easier to work with than, let's say, dip socket chips or things like that. And hello, King Europe 1. Hi, thank you for joining us. Yeah, so we need to see if we can get this damn thing to work. The terminal used on this wasn't the stock TV out library that I've used before for black and white composite generation. It was what was it called? MRH-TV or something like that. It gave you a proper 40-column mode in black and white, but it didn't output. It wasn't like a standard composite output, so it wasn't quite PAL, it wasn't quite NTSC. So all my PAL CRT monitors couldn't display it. The video capture cards didn't like it. Some of the modern TVs were fine with it, but you got artifacting as if it was like NTSC, which was rather strange. So I'm not too sure about this because it's not running a standard video format. It's a pain in the butt, basically, which is kind of why when you got Pies came available again, I thought, do I really want to go down this road? Also, the library doesn't, if you download the stock library for it, it doesn't compile on the modern IDE. I had to fiddle around with it. So again, is it really worth carrying on with that? I don't know. Just looking back at the comments, King Europe 1, love your videos. I think I subscribed to the C64 mini stuff. Oh, blimey, that was a few years ago. Yeah. I've actually got some other bits to do with the C64 and also the VIC-20 that have been on my to-do list forever. By the way, I'm not short of content ideas. If I actually got around to doing all the content I needed to do, would be about 3 years in. So I'm terrible at getting distracted with stuff. But right, anyway, what are we doing with this? So, do you know what I'm going to do? Because I won't remember which way this went in because I'm utterly terrible like that. Let's just take a photograph. And I should know which way it goes because I designed the damn thing. Just to show me which cable more or less went where. There we go. Right. So, yeah, I think I'm going to disconnect. We'll take the Pi side off because it doesn't need the Pi to run. And we'll take the videos out, and we'll take the voltage, that's power out as well. These two are the serial links. This is the TX-RX UART serial link I was telling you about, so we'll take that out as well. And this leaves you with the base unit, which is actually just a hat board that sits as a custom hat board that sits on top of a stock Nano. And we can, or should be able to just take this out. And it hasn't actually been out for some time, but it's not soldered in or anything, so it should come apart. Let's be a little bit gentle on the back because it comes out a funny angle. There we go. Right. So that is the absolute stock. It's a Chinese clone Mega 2560. Did I say 2560 or 2? Yeah, I think I said 2560, but that's what we're using. Yep. So that's the stock board underneath. And then this is basically, this is the build here. So this is what I did. And this is the custom hat that makes the computer a computer. And that was the wire wrap underneath. So I guess I could, while we've got it apart, it's just to see if there's anything that's detached itself that might have caused the problem why we haven't got anything running properly. Because as I said, I did squeeze the damn thing in into that case, which again I kind of regret doing now, but I'll be honest with you, this was really fiddly to do. Yeah, it looks all right. I guess the next thing to do is probably just with this board out the equation. So we've just got the hat. Case of just seeing, get the multimeter out, I think, and just let's probe around, just make sure we've got some continuity where we need it, because it could be something has disconnected, broken. I did have an issue when I was building that, and this is my own fault, is I got my positive and negative the wrong way around, and I blasted bits that should have been ground with 5 volts. But I swear to God this has worked properly, because I did some video capture with it. I swear to God it worked after that, but perhaps it didn't. I don't know. Yeah, interesting. So, right. Let's dig out the multimeter. And again, we're just going to run in continuity. So that's basically, it makes a beep when positive and negative meet. It also might help if we get the, so I can find it. We need the pinout for an Atmega 328P, which is that right there. So you see that sort of circle next to pin 1 at the top of the chip diagram? That would indicate the same as, oh, that's me, hello. That would indicate the same, you can see it, there's a notch just here, and that would indicate pin 1. So pin 1 is this side up there. So what I want to do is, just referring back to my diagram, we want to just check that we've got ground is in where it should be. So I need to find a ground somewhere. I've got a ground over there, I might be able to just borrow. So that's ground. Oops. And let's have a look now. So yeah, that's pin 8 is correct. Because I had it before where we didn't have voltage to one side of the chip and that caused it to stop working. Yep, that's 22 on the other side, that's correct. Okay. Now we'll do the same, exactly the same again, but just on 5 volts. Again, I appreciate you trying to see this on camera. So let's just do another run to see where we're at. And again, just referring to the diagram. So VCC is an AVCC is basically what we want to check. So yep, that's AVCC and VCC. Yeah, okay, so it's powered both sides, it's grounded both sides, so that's not it. The clock, the lack of a clock would cause a problem. So these chips have to be ran, to run at 16 megahertz, they have to run from an external clock, which is, I can show you on here, is what this silver can is. That's a 16 megahertz clock. Now those are those 5 and 6. It's connected, both pins is connected to both sides. If the clock isn't correct, that can cause problems. So yeah, it's XTAL, which is 9 and 10. So 9 and 10 is, now can we try and grab something? There we go. That's right. And just for the other side. Yeah. So that's in. And then the video circuit is off these two diodes. There's two switching diodes hiding just here and here. And that should go up to yep, there's continuity there. Okay, so there's a 1K diode and a 470 ohm diode, and those joined together, and you've got these two switching diodes in between, sorry, diodes, resistors, two switching diodes in between, which should be coupled one side. Okay. And one of these then should be that's interesting. Trying to remember which side one of these basically. There's two signals needed for a video. So you've got to have a video picture signal itself and then a sync signal. And those should be coupled to the chip. So yeah, there's something not right here. I mean, yeah, my soldering is yeah. But it shouldn't be that broke. Hang on a minute. It should be. I've done that. And there's your video. That's interesting. I'm not getting any continuity. Really? No continuity there. Okay. This is going to be a pain. We'll say hello to John M 2012. Is it like Picomite? Yes, it is. Very much like Picomite. Similar. Slightly different vein to what we're trying to achieve, but what you need to understand about this, it's more about the build. Less about the functionality, if you know what I mean. If that makes sense, which to some people it won't. But to a lot of people, they kind of get it. It's like, yeah, it's great to sort of build these little computers and sort of have fun and understand how this all works. Others just want a kit board and they want it to sort of, be like a more pronounced system. So this kind of struggles interestingly in between the two. So yeah. I don't know if it's really worth us trying to pursue this, because I said I don't intend to use this. Basically, we're planning on just using a single terminal, and that could be a Pico or Pico. Sorry, did I say Picomite? I meant Picomite. It could be ESP32, because the FabGL Lab libraries are very good for that as well. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be the Pi. I don't understand why this broke, basically. That's really what I want to try and understand tonight, why this broke. Just back in the chat again, and King you're at one. Where are we? C64, all a bit before my time. Same here, actually. Yeah, I'm only 36, so yeah, one of the younger ones doing this. That's not clickbait clickbait content. Yeah, so C64 has been a learning curve for me, pretty much since it came out. That's VC64, not the original machine, because I didn't have any legacy knowledge of it when the modern clone came out. So everything you've seen on the channel for that has been very much my own experimentations and playing around with those products, which has been interesting. But you do realise how bad the C64 was, code-wise, when you compare it to a BBC Micro. And I know that's controversial, but BBC Basic is so much better than the Commodore Basic. Although saying that the Commodore was hardware, you could argue it was a better machine, but it ran slower. So, swings and roundabouts. Right. Okay, what I think we're going to do now is let's try and... There's still something I'm not happy about, how this is working or not working. And you do something and then you don't remember how you did it. This is one of those cases right now. I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm doing. How I built this. I definitely know it worked because I did video capture and everything from it working. So, I'm not going mad. I know it did work at one point. It just doesn't now. And I haven't fried the chip because that's a different microcontroller in there, and it still doesn't work. Right. I wonder if I fried the can. possible. God, I made a hack job of this, didn't I? Blimey. Okay. It's just a case about just want to see where the video diodes go. So that goes there. Jumps to that's fine. Yeah. As I said, it's probably just not worth worrying too much about this, because I said I could just component recover, because we're going to change how this works. So, okay. What I want to do then is let's just take, this is the earlier simpler build. This chip and this chip are the same. It's Mega 328p. They're both running as video terminals. They both have a 16 megahertz crystal. So what I want to do is I just want to get some timings off so we can visually see what it looks like, something that I know works. Now this is known good, this works. And it should be fine. I've got a feeling it's the crystal isn't right. But anyway, yeah. So this is why we've got this rather wide angle shot this evening. This is, let's just take the, do I need to power you there? Let's take that out a minute. I might need to grab another USB cable in a minute because I don't know if I've got one. Need a micro USB cable. There we are, one in the drawer. There we are, that'll do. Right, so you might have seen this in the background of a number of shots when I'm doing videos. This is a relatively old, I think it's mid to late 80s oscilloscope. It's an old tube, analog tube one, and I got it quite cheap. Unfortunately, someone passed away from my radio club, and it went to auction, and I picked it up. What did I pay? About £20? Yeah, it wasn't much. 25, I think, maybe something like that. So it's not all the fancy LCD ones that you see all the better YouTubers using, but it'll do the job so we can see what we're doing. So hence why I've got this very wide angle so you can see this. Hopefully you'll be able to see the screen on this. So let's power up. And basically it's got one of the scopes, there you go, in. And that's what you get. So you have a ground crocodile clip, and you've got, this is the main probe itself. If I ground myself, you can see it generates something on the screen. So let's go back to top view. What I also bought, and I got these off, there was a sale at one of the Raspberry Pi supply company places, and they did these little they're sort of like grab, what do you call these, the little grab things, the little tongue that comes out, and you can grab a pin and then plug that into something at different ends. So what I can do with this is we can, so think about this. So what I need to do is we'll grab, that grabs onto there, onto the probe. It does have a grab itself, but it's not as good. So let's grab that roughly where we want to see the signal, which will be off here, off for the cam. We then need to ground. So to ground, let's go on to black, or crocodile clip onto, if I can get that to work, onto black, or ground onto just onto there. Okay, make sure none of this touches, by the way. Let's, what to do with that USB cable I just found? I'll just put somewhere. That's annoying. I've literally just put it down. What have I done with it? Oh, it's in front of me. Right. So we're just going to put 5 volts off the phone charger into this one, which will boot it up. Okay. So now I might have to turn some lights off for you to see this actually, because it's going to be a little bit dim on the screen. Let's just turn some lights off. Hopefully you can see. That's probably too bright now, isn't it? Yeah, hang on. Let's get this right, because I can't. I can't see the screen, but the camera is obviously more sensitive. That might work better. Okay. Let's adjust the camera and mess things up. So these cameras don't have autofocus on them. They are very, very good cameras, but let's just, you can see that better. Oh, there we go. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So we've hooked up on scope 1, and if I can adjust the voltage down. So I might have to try refocusing that in a minute. There we go. Okay. And if we adjust the timing, so you can end up with something that looks like a hospital monitor, but we want to actually see the waveform. Let's see if I can just get something. There we are. If I stretch that out, there we go. So you can see there, that's a very clear 16 megahertz cycle. So you can see how the wave jumps up and down, and that's actually really nicely and clear, that is. So just see if I can, there we go. Yeah. So that's 16 megahertz, and that's what we're getting off the clock, or the crystal rather, that's running here. So this crystal is running, and that's generating this signal, and I can prove it's that signal. So if I disconnect, it should go away. Yeah, it does. Just put that back on. There we go. Yeah. So that's a good signal that we know actually works. The question is now, let's go back to the other board, power that up, and see if we get the same result. So memorize that image. That's what a good clean 16 megahertz feed should look roughly like. Just can I sharpen that up a little bit? Yeah, there we go. Reason I like these old CRT based oscilloscopes is that there's a couple of boards around now for playing like Vectrex vector based CRT games, and you basically just hook these up to the feed to an oscilloscope, and it'll actually be like an actual real vector. Well, it would be a real vector CRT display, so that would actually be quite cool, and that would look so much cooler on one of these than it would green phosphor as well. So it looks so much better on one of those than it would on a modern LCD version. So anyway, okay, so we'll power you down for the minute and power that off. Let's go. Okay, so that's what a good signal looks like. Now, I'm trying to remember, I don't think this powers up without having the board fitted. So let's pop the board in. Yep, and we're in, which is good. Okay. So we need to find a ground from somewhere. What we could do is just get a wire. Let's just couple in. There we go. I put these little headers on myself here, so that's gone into ground. That's now grounded. And you've got the two ceramic disc capacitors. I don't know if you can actually see those, but they're just in there. There and there. Same as what we had on the other board. And I'm just going to see if I can, again, without shorting everything out, can I just grab one end? Yeah, it might have worked. Okay, let's swap the USB cable over to a full one. Oh, that's just pinged straight off again. I might have to manually just hold that, unfortunately. I don't want to cause a short, obviously. So something like that. Right, let's turn everything back on. Okay. So, is this running all right? Oh, there it is. And yeah, it's a little different, but let's just take the voltage on that down. Yeah, there it is. So that looks, I say a little different. It's purely the voltage it's reading is a little different. We may be running a little bit low on the other board, but you actually look at the frequency suite, it's exactly the same. So and that's actually really, really stable. So that's looking fine, actually. Yeah. So let's just have a quick, let's just come back here. Can I find the signals from the chip? Yes, I think I can. So this is on the leg of the actual chip. And there's the clock, and that's looking fine. That's the other side. It's a slightly dimmer signal. That's the other side of the clock. Remember, it's 2 pins. So yeah, the clock is running. So that's absolutely fine. Right, so it's got voltage. The clock's running. It's not the chip. I'm sure it's not the chip because I've already changed that out. I think we did test. Let's just turn it off a minute. We did test continuity, didn't we? Let's just power down to make sure we are getting composite video continuity. Let's turn some lights back on, actually. It's a bit dim in here. There we go. Right. Okay, so we scoped it out. So we know the clock is running. I'm just looking at the video. How far behind is the video from what I'm talking now? There seems to be a huge lag. Oh well, that's off-putting when when you can see the live YouTube feed and it's minutes now behind me talking. So if there's a delay in people asking me things, again, apologies for that. But yeah, you are about 2 minutes behind. Where are you? 17. Yeah, you're about a good 30. You can't be that far behind. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully we're still live and that's work. I can't believe we're that far behind. Anyway, right. Okay. Sorry, getting distracted. Let's carry on. So video. Video is this one here. Again, we're off. We're just in continuity mode, running off the battery off the multimeter. Right. I'm sure we did this. I've just forgotten. Yep. Yep. Continuity. 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 And hang on, top of the diode. Oh, hang on. We had it then. Go on, where is it? Oh, there was a loose solder, you know. Let's just I'm just looking at the diagram very quickly. Okay. Let's try that again. There we are. Oh, there we are. So that should work. That should work. Let's just make sure we've got video on there. One of these is ground, and I can't remember which one it is. I shall scope that out very quick. That's the ground signal there. Okay, so that should bypass the switching system. Let's take little, well, say little 12-inch display. Let's see if we actually get anything. So RCA wants to go, that's power. Let's get this right around. Power. Yellow to white. Black to white on this side. Power up. USB in. Nope, we're not getting anything. Ugh. suppose we could just try reseating the chip. Have I got a flathead screwdriver? Yep, I have. It's just... I said I have. This is the second. Is the original chip around? This is the second one I flashed with the. Because I did think had it cooked the chip, but the continuity on that all checked out. So. Right, that's back in. Power back up. Nope. It's not going to be on the other one. Nope. See, normally you do this in a pre-record video, spend hours and hours and hours trying to sort it out, and then, oh hello, what happened there? Oh, what? What? What happened? That's working. What? What on earth? What? Normally you spend hours and then you edit it together. That's now working at you. Why is that working? Right. Those of you still with me live on this stream, thank you for being here. But okay, there's a loose connection, isn't there? Because there it is. It is. That's the 40 column mode. That's now work. It's a loose connection. Right. So it does still work. It wasn't fried. Well, that's sort of good, isn't it? I mean, we're getting somewhere. Oh dear. Oh. Yeah, so this is the black and white 40 column mode that actually on this display is displaying really nicely, and you're not even getting the color flaring on it. I tried to capture that and it looked awful. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm chuffed that's working. So then we just try and reflow the solder joints around the video connector. Is there just something broken on the board? It's some. I'm literally just tapping there, and it's fragile. Strange. I can see the refresh rate, so it must be running at 60 hertz refresh rate on that, I'm guessing. Okay. Right. So, I guess what we do now is I'm kind of pleased that's working actually. I don't quite know why I'm pleased that's working. I don't want to use this system anymore. I don't think I do anyway. Hmm. Okay. So I guess, well, it's nice it is working. I guess it's something around. Just use the, yeah. There's definitely a loose connection somewhere. The way that's sort of flailing on and off. Okay. Well, I think what I would like to do now, if it's okay with everybody, and by the way, thank you so much for all of you that are joining me live for this evening. Where are we now? We're coming up to 10 o'clock, quarter to 10. So yeah, we're going a good hour. I'd like to make another cup of tea. So can I leave you all just for a moment? And I will be right back. And I'm back, cup of tea in hand. Although I realise you can't see me because we set the camera up to look at the meter that we oscilloscope that we don't need. So let's find me again. There we go, something like that. Make sure I'm roughly in focus, which I think that's about right. There we are. Right. Right. Hi, everyone. So thanks for sticking around. Got a new cup of tea. Yeah. So bad soldering joint, which I'm not surprised considering how I soldered it together. Trying to think, what else do I need to tell you actually? Oh, while I'm here and you're there, just a quick reminder, I've been bashing on about this on social media, but Pixel Addicts, there we are, issue, where are we, 14, and I'm still a featured author inside. You can get this, it's a link, by the way, for this is in the description. And where are we? I'll find it. I've just done an article on, there it is, Haiku operating system, which we need to talk about here on the channel again at some point. Slightly annoyingly, they accidentally in the title here they put a free, and it's like it's not Haiku OS free, it's just Haiku OS. And I had a chat with the editor to find out where on earth they got a free from. They're not sure, but it was a mistake their side. But yeah, so Pixel Addict issue 14. I'm also going to be in issue 15. I have another article for 15. Basically, what I'm doing with these print articles is I'm going through the list of things I've not done on Wi-Fi Sheep that I'm meant to do here on the channel, and then writing a journalistic print piece about it, thinking we'll get back to doing that on the channel at some point. So do bear with me on that. Right. I'm just looking at the YouTube relay, and we are miles behind. So yeah, if you're watching this, no, hang on. Currently, the stuff you've been seeing live is before I went and had the tea break. So welcome to the future. That's insane, the lag. How on earth has it got so far behind? That is bizarre. Anyway, at least I think that's the case, unless I'm seeing it delayed, and you're all with me. I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, right. Let's get back to this then. So, have we completely died? There we are. Yeah, it must just be bad solder. But where though? Is it on the chip? Thing is, I touch this anywhere and it just breaks. So. Definitely up this end. Okay, I don't think that's really going to prove anything other than it now really doesn't work again. So let's power that off. So we know that works at least. By the way, feel free to say hi in the chat. I am here if you want to ask anything. I can see the chat. I've got it up inside OBS. OBS now supports YouTube chat in Windows, so I don't have to look at the web browser or be on the web browser to actually see it. So yeah, do feel free to come and say hi. We're coming up to 10 o'clock here in the UK. I'm happy to keep going for a little bit longer if you're happy to keep watching. Right, let's take those off. So we know it's definitely a broken, it's not a broken trace because this isn't traced, it's wire wrapped. It's just wire wrapped badly. So I'm just looking at my handicraft and going, Right, let's get that apart again. Don't really keep wanting to keep pulling this apart and back again, because that's how things are getting broken. But oh, jammed that on good this time, haven't I? It's, come on. Oh dear. Gonna be careful not to bend the pins up. There we go. Right. That's not the right way around. Let's say we can. We go out of focus, but so we can just zoom you in a little bit. I have had some issue with the zoom on that being a little bit temperamental. There we go. At least you're back in focus. So yeah, it was hand wire wrapped. Get my magnifying glass, because the problem is I need to be able to see this just as much as you do. So let's just have a quick look. Well, I guess we could just try reflowing a bit of it, see what it does. And the problem is there's so many wires so closely packed that you want to be very, very careful. That under there is looking a little bit suspect. Let's try and move this one out of the way. I'm hearing some banging and crashing outside, so that's either the dog downstairs or someone's coming back home. I guess we could do just do a quick reflow, see what that does. Might not fix anything, but let's make a bit of space for ourselves. Appreciate you can't see what I'm doing now, so hang on. So I've just got soldering iron here, bit of wet sponge. So we'll just get that on, heat up. Alcohol-based flux here. Get the lid off that. Just reflux everything. I've got to be very, very careful when I do this, just to make sure if there is anything. Thing is, when you, oh god, the fumes on that. Oh god, yeah, don't breathe that in. Oh dear, that is a bit potent. Right. Let soldering iron heat up. Thing is, I don't know which joint is actually broken on this, so it's going to be a bit iffy. Logic would state just do the grounds, the video leads, and the VCC voltage, 5-volt voltage. So a little bit of solder. Just use a wet sponge just to clean up the soldering iron. Best you can. That needs to heat up a bit more. We'll see if we can get that to tidy up. Tea in the meantime. So it's 5 minutes past 10 now here in the UK. So we've been on for about, how long have we been streaming for? Can't see now. I don't know where my counters are. I had a counter that told me how long we've been going, and I can't see it. At least I thought I did. Oh well, maybe I didn't. Right, we're up to temperature yet. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Just try and clean the muck off the soldering iron. Alright. I'm going to have to... Apologies if my head gets in the shot here. I'm going to try and do this very carefully, just see if I can... A few things that just need retinning. That 5 volts just comes clean off. Put that back on. Yeah, stuff like that starts to get awkward. Flux on that. There we go, that's on. Also, these here kind of embedded in the very, very careful. You don't want to sort of like burn a lot of the outer casing on these wires, creating dead shorts and things, which, you know, could be extremely problematic. So let's just... Not happy with that, really. It's not on good at all. It's better. I suppose the thing to do really is just to get multimeter out. Just check the continuity again. Now we've got the underside of the board and we sort of roughly know what we're looking for. Maybe we could do that, I guess. Just turn the soldering iron off a moment. So when you're doing electronics like this is the kind of the process you go through, is just trying to fault find what has gone wrong, why has it gone wrong. You know, and hobby electronics is like that, really. Let's just get you back in focus. There we go. So let's find the meter, wherever I left it, in its box down here. So continuity mode, and we just want to check that things are, you know, connected to what they're meant to be connected to. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It's a 5-volt rail there. It's connected to 5 volt. So 5 volts is universal across the whole board. So 5 volts here is connected to 5 volts over there, regardless if there's a wire there or not. So that's happy. There's a ground. That ground is connected. That ground is. That's connected. That's quite happy. That 5 volts is in. You're connected. You're connected and you're quite happy. It's this here I've made a right mess. So what's that meant to be linked? Is that meant to be linked to anything? It's the SD card, isn't it? Yep, that's all right. Thing is, it's checking out all right. It's generally checking out okay. So, okay. Let's let's zoom out a bit more. There we are. Hopefully that's in focus. Let's move the soldering iron out of the way for the minute. We'll do another quick test now just to see if that works. So that's our board. sure that's a really good tight fit. Yep, which it is. So let's bring back our screen that we were testing with, and let's plug this back in. So video, ground, and hang on, let's get this right. White to black. That's on the other side. Power is incorrect. Monitor should power up then. I've got something to just pop behind that, so just to bank it up so you can see without the reflection maybe. No, it needs to be a higher angle than that. Hang on. The old plastic case. That's better. Right. I notice the chat has gone very quiet. Everyone is either utterly confused, bored, or in awe. One of the three. Let's make sure that doesn't short anything out. Okay. Still not right or happy, is it? Oh, hang on, my ground's come out. So have we gone from slightly working to now completely broke? Oh dear, that's not great. I think we've made it worse. Strip it on the right. Yeah, AB1. Oh, that is annoying. So it's something isn't soldered right underneath, and obviously we've been under there, we've done a bit of reworking, and we've actually made it worse. Oh no! Oh, that is annoying. Oh no, that is annoying. Actually, tell a lie. Have I even put the right? Hang on. Oh. Right, I hadn't grounded it. Hang on. So is that now working? Oh. Yeah, I couldn't believe that was a total failure. There we go. That does actually now appear to be working. There we are. I've literally clutched victory out the jaws of defeat there. Of course, you can't type anything because ironically you need the Raspberry Pi connected to feed the TXRX serial. But that's not what I wanted to get or try to get done tonight. I just wanted to see if I could get this terminal to run, which we can. It still leaves a huge dilemma about what we're going to do with this particular prototype. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with that, in all honesty. Um, because it's not something I want to support in going forward with the Project Rio build. So it's sort of like, we could just take this hat off, store that, take the chip off, take the hat off, store it, as a preserved piece of history, and then reuse the Pi, reuse the main mega board, something else, which is a possibility. So it won't go to waste. But what I'm thinking is, does it need to be held together? This particular prototype. You see, it's still glitchy. It's still glitchy, which is annoying to say the least. But still, I'm thrilled we've actually fixed that. I'm really, really thrilled. Yeah, I'm wondering, should we leave it? Should we leave it there tonight? Might be an idea to leave it there tonight. So before I go then, try not to lean on my chair. Just to say, in case you're not aware, I'm not going to be attending the Retrofest, Cambridge Retrofest, in November. I think it's the 3rd or 4th or 5th, whatever that weekend is in November in Cambridge. I'm not going to be there this year. It is going ahead, and I do hope you'll support it, but I'm not going to be present at that event. I might be back they might be running a smaller festival at the museum in the new year, in the spring, and I will probably try and attend that one if I can. Midland user group of RISC-OS are having a in-person physical meeting in the West Midlands on September the 9th. I'm intending of being there just as a visitor, a guest. I might do a little talk. I may stand up for 2 minutes and just talk about the Pixel Addict magazine stuff. But I will be there, and links to that are in the description to this video. They might be doing a sort of informal Christmas show at the event. At the event. At the premises where they meet. It's a community hall somewhere. I forget exactly where it is in the West Midlands. It's on, I want to say, Bromsgrove side of West Midlands. That's the area of Birmingham. Literally just down the M5, off the M6 down the M5, heading south. So it's not terrible to get to. But yeah, they're thinking about running what they call a Christmas market, which would be an informal Acorn RISC-OS type show. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if it's just going to be a big Zoom call, or if we're actually physically going to get together. If it's physically get together, I'd like to attend that as an exhibitor. And I'll keep you posted if I'm likely to do that. Other than that, there's no formal events planned for me in person for the rest of this year. Saying that, you never know what might come up. And it's also why I've been experimenting with the possibility of doing these sort of live format things. Sorry, I'm choking on my own tea here. Also about the possibility of doing my live format type things here on the channel, especially as we can kind of do stuff very long form videos in a kind of live interactive way, and just try and get stuff fixed and working like we have this tonight, which has been absolutely superb. So I think that's be about it for me for tonight. So thank you so much for your company. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. Again, if you want to be superb supportive, and I really do appreciate these people that do, you can join me over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. More about the TinyBASIC Project Rio can be found it's in the links to the description, by the way, but it can be found at tinybasic.wifisheep.co.uk. Links to that are in the description. So yeah, please do like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm going to call it a night here on Wi-Fi Sheep. So thanks so much for your company, and hope we'll do this again real soon. Until next time, rather. Have a great evening. Bye for now.